on behalf of the board, a very, very warm welcome to all of you here. When I was principal at Dominguez, I would tell my students that the favorite part of my job was to recognize and celebrate their successes. And being here tonight with all of you present here, I see a lot of young faces, a lot of proud parents, proud staff members. This is just an added perk that we have as board members. So thank you for coming. It is very nice to see all of you here. So welcome. So without further ado, it is 6:01, and I call this meeting of the Feria Independent School District to order. Let the record show that a quorum of board members are present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Please stand.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, it is written that where two or more are gathered, there you are amongst them. Thank you, Lord, for breathing life into us today. Thank you for our blessings, our gifts, and our talents to share with others. Watch over our family and friends and community, and especially we want to pray for the victims and the families in Nashville. Lord God, get us all home safely tonight. In your Son's name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You may be seated. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 9th, February 16th, and March the 8th, 2023? I have a motion by Ms. Martinez. Do I have a second? And a second by Mrs. Casas. All in favor say aye. Aye. And now the reason we are here, the celebrations.
Good evening, Board President, Board members, Superintendent Ms. Flores. Tonight we have some students we would like to recognize for their hard work, dedication, and achieving their very best. Can Mr. Ernie Garcia come up?
Board members, I want to extend my gratitude to you all. Thank you for taking the time to meet with each and every one of us here tonight. I especially want to thank you all for all the great support that you've given our chess team. Without your support for our chess team, we wouldn't accomplish the things that we have done. But before I go into my accomplishments, I would like to introduce to you all the great coaching staff that we have here for our chess team, starting with, from the Feria High School, Rebecca Cavazos. From W.B. Green High School, Luis de los Santos. Melissa Icaza, she's from Noemi Dominguez. She's not able to attend today. And Miss Blanca Zabaleta, who coaches both at David Sanchez Elementary and C. Vale Elementary. Coming back from this pandemic that we had, we were out for 2 years and competing face-to-face. But coming back this year, it was a great opportunity for our kiddos. It was both rewarding and challenging, to say the least. But we had some great success. And starting in September this past year, our girls competed in the all-girls state tournament. This is a tournament where all the girls from all over the state of Texas were invited to compete at the UTRGV campus in Brownsville. As a result of that, WB Green Junior High placed third in their division. In the primary division, Brianna Rodriguez from David Sanchez Elementary placed 10th individually. And from Noemi Dominguez Elementary, our Lady Knights placed, well, he placed first. It was a 3-way tie, and so we had to go with tri-coat state champions that year. So, yeah, so our girls did an awesome job there. In February, we had regional here in Harlingen. Just want to go briefly over what the results were from regional. So our La Feria High School team placed 9th in the high school championship. The team also placed 6th in the high school JV section. WB Green Junior High placed 9th in the middle school championship section. They also placed 8th in the JV middle section. Noemi Dominguez Elementary placed 5th in the division of JV. And our team placed 10th in the elementary championship section. In the primary section, CE Vale placed 6th overall as a team. We even had one individual, Kason Gear, who actually tied for first place in his division. Brianna Rodriguez from David Sanchez Elementary also placed 19th at the primary JV section as well. As far as the other elementary schools, Sam Houston Elementary placed 13th overall in the elementary JV section. C. Vale placed 16th, and Sanchez Elementary placed 17th. So that was some good effort. As a result of that, we were able to qualify for the Super State Chess Tournament that we had this school year at the McAllen Convention Center. It was definitely quite an experience for our students. I don't think they've ever seen such a large crowd ever competing. And our students did great here at the state tournament. Competing in the high school JV section, Destin Vasquez placed 12th. Competing in the middle school JV section, WB Green placed 12th as a team. They also placed 8th in the novice section. In the primary division, which is comprised of 2nd and 3rd graders, CE Vale Elementary placed 12th. In the elementary division and competing in elementary novice section, Sam Houston Elementary placed 11th. David Sanchez Elementary placed 13th. And CE Vale placed 15th. They only gave awards to the top 15 teams. Noemi Dominguez Elementary competed on all 3 sections at this tournament. They placed 7th in the elementary championship section. In the elementary JV section, Noemi Dominguez placed 8th. And in the elementary novice section, Noemi Dominguez placed 10th. With this result, We accomplished what 37 other teams couldn't do, and that's get third place in the elementary grand championship section.
Mason got 14th place in the primary JV division.
Yes. So also I wanted to make a note that Kason had also obtained 14th at the Super State Chess Tournament as well. It's with these great efforts, guys, board members. I feel like I'm coaching to my kids and stuff, and so it's with these great efforts that I ask for your continued support for our chess team. Our chess team continues to grow by leaps and bounds, as you all can tell here. Why is it important? Why is chess important? Chess is important because of several things. One is it enhances a child's attention span. It develops better cognitive skills for them. And it improves memory function. Developing strategic skills to crush them. No, I'm just kidding. But, so yes, in short, I just ask for your continued support of our chess program. We got a long ways to go here. We got room to improve, and with you all's support, we know that we can do that. Thank you.
Can San Houston chess team come up so we can take a picture? All of the chess team players from San Houston Elementary. Thank you, San Houston. Now can we have CE Bell Elementary? choir.
Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for being here tonight. Lord, we appreciate everything you do for our school, from the elementary all the way to the high school. We have a wonderful, wonderful school district, very proud of, and very proud of these high school choir students who will be performing their solos in Austin, Texas in the end of May. And they've already won their medals here, and their next round is state, and we're very proud of them and the representation. So when I call your name, would you please stand? And we have a few absent tonight because of having to work or gone home to bed. We're doing homework, they're doing homework. We have Kimberly Salazar, senior. Oh, y'all can come forward up here. Emma Bravo, she's a senior also. Mia Vela, senior. Carolina Morales, senior. Faith Fontenot, senior. Evelyn Machado, senior. A lot of seniors this year. Leslie Garcia, senior. Erica Macias, senior. We have Zoe Garza, junior. Angelica Moreno, junior. Rigoberto Torvar, junior. Victor Cortez, sophomore, and Halo Garcia, freshman. We were missing tonight, we were missing Alicia Salinas, she's a junior, she'll be going to state also. Maria Benitez, a junior, she'll be going to state. Juan Hernandez, sophomore or junior? Sophomore. He got a 1 at state last year, so we're very proud of him. He'll be going also. Austin Vaughn, sophomore. He'll be going also. So these are going to be representing LaFeria High School at the state level for a state solo contest and at the end of May. So let's give them another round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you, high school choir. Now can we have Ms. Naida Cruz?
So we did something very different this year. Thank you, seniors. This is Mrs. Cruz. She's she's been on the job now for a year, so we're very proud to have her. Her husband is also a choir director. Her father is a choir director. We find this is the first time that this has happened for LaFeria ISD and for the junior high. So we're very proud of these 3 young students that she's going to recognize here for a great achievement. Mrs. Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Ashley. So these three students recently auditioned for, it's called the Middle School, Junior High, TCDA All-State Choir. So that means they competed against thousands of middle schoolers, not just here in the Valley or in South Texas, but the entire state of Texas. And these three students were chosen to be a part of that. So in the summer, they'll be heading out to San Antonio to work with Dr. Botha from the Hamilton College in New York City, who is the director of choral activities at the university. So these three students I would like to recognize are Kenya Garcia, and she's in 7th grade. She's in 7th grade. Luis Garcia Becerra, he's also in 7th grade. And Angel Sanchez, who's in 8th grade. And I'm so proud of these students. They worked so hard and they competed against so many students. And this is such a great opportunity for them. And I'm so excited and I'm so thankful to you all, board members and Mrs. Torres, our superintendent. I can't tell you how many other choir directors I've talked to, and they are amazed at the support that our district gives to our choir program. And I'm so glad and I'm so proud to be a part of this district, because the support of you all and our administrators really does matter. And it makes us, me and Mr. Ashley, glad to come and to serve these students. And I'm so thankful for you all, and I'm so thankful for all of the administration and our students who worked so hard. And I know it wasn't part of a recognition today, but our choir students at the junior high also compete at UIL. And in case you didn't know, there's no small school division for junior high choir. And so these students are competing with large schools from Brownsville, Donna, Westlake, and they worked so hard and they got nothing but great comments and perfect scores on stage. So I'm so proud to be a part of this group. And yes, these three students have worked so hard and they deserve to be recognized tonight. So.
Thank you, junior high. Next, we have Mr. David Cardona, band director at La Feria High School.
Okay, I guess now it's the band portion. We'll let them all walk in. We have two groups that I'd like to highlight tonight. The first group are our UIL solo and ensemble kids. We had 15 kids partake in UIL solo and ensemble. When everyone thinks of La Feria High School band, think about the big marching band, correct? These are individuals that have decided to do solos and some small ensembles. We had 15 kids participate in UIL State Solo and Ensemble. All of them are going on. They all received first divisions. Those people who are here, go ahead and stand up. For brass, we had Halo Garcia, earned the Division I, Haley Ramos, Santos Hernandez. Also with the woodwind solo, we had Peyton Garcia, who couldn't be here tonight. Percussion solos, we had Ryan Paredes, Angel Ibarra, Kristen Lopez, and Nico Noriega, who's in golf right now. We also had a few ensembles participate. The first one is a flute ensemble. We had Logan Duran, who can not be here, Vidali Cáceres, Jasmine Guajardo, and Elizabeth Hernandez. And the last group we had was a saxophone ensemble. That was Brianna Martinez, Carla Trevino, Ella Lázaro, and Peyton Garcia. So all these students will be representing us at the end of the year in Austin, Texas for the OL State's All Ensemble Conference. Okay, the next group that we'd like to recognize, this is a new group. This is only their second year in existence. And this is the La Feria High School Winter Guard. Their coach, Ms. Juarez, is here as well. Last year was their first year, and they compete, just like the choir said, there's no small school in these competitions. They're competing against 5A, 6A groups for the most part. Last year, they were able to do really well, and they finished 4th place, one spot away from getting a medal. This year, they really stepped up their game, and they just got done with their contest this Saturday, and they were able to win a state championship. So if you are here, go ahead and sign up. Bianca Martinez, 9th grade. Olivia Castro, 9th grade. Armando Martinez. Jenny Lamas. Claudia Hernandez. Natalie Gerardo. Yesenia Franco. Elisa Cavazos. Amara Cabias. Melanie Delgado. Cassie Torres. Kayla Rosales, Julissa Rodriguez, Elisa Ramos, Kimberly Granado, Denia Garcia, Ana Cubian, Celeste Medrano, Julissa Jaime, Vanessa Izaguirre, Jocelyn Franco, and Felicia Figueroa.
Good evening, Good evening, everyone. Thank you, board, for inviting us to present these young men. I'm very blessed to be able to coach them this year. It's an absolute pleasure to introduce them. And when I call your name, gentlemen, just come up one at a time. Kyle Aguirre. Julian Flores. Joey Frostwood. Gavin Vento. Noah Rosales. And Evan Lopez. These young men right here were able to secure the 3rd seed in the playoffs, and were able to defeat the number 2 seed, Toledo Midway, in a bi-district title. They were the only team out of 32 4A to win their bi-district title, and they fell in the area round. But it's like I said, these young men did a great job. I'm very, very blessed to coach them, and I look forward to seeing the young ones develop in the future. And to the seniors, we wish you the best of luck. We love you guys. You let us know if you need anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cisneros, as well. Next, we would like to have the girls' basketball coach, Coach Delia Lopez.
I don't really like to do this. Good evening, everybody. I'm Delia Lopez. I'm the girls basketball coach of the Comi. Coach Vargas is here with me. She's one of my assistants. I'm also assisted by Sarah Torres and Monica Oliva, but they weren't able to make it tonight. First of all, I want to thank all the administration, all my Coach Salinas, Coach Campos, and all the other coaches that have assisted us throughout the year this year. They made this whole year just successful for all of us. We've worked together really well and we get along, so the girls all know that they can count on us for anything. Our season this year, we were district champs. That hasn't happened in a while, so we were district champs. The girls did an awesome job. We were plagued by some injuries. Some of my first string girls were injured and they stayed out most of the season, but the other girls stepped up and I was really proud of them, the way they performed throughout the whole season. They also were bi-district champs. They beat out Toledo Midway. The area the Angles had only lost by a little bit. We almost had it, and that's on me. So, but anyway, the girls did awesome. It was a great season. We finished all of these young ladies. The following, I'm gonna make the announcements of their accomplishments with all district selections. We had a few. I'm gonna do the seniors first. Number 24, Kyle Dickerson. She was named Defensive Player of the Year. If I could, I would have named her Defensive Player, Offensive Player, probably everything, and 6-man, everything on the board. Yeah. She was named Pro Sports Live Player of the Week twice. Okay? She was chosen by the Vipers coach. They called me that they wanted her to play at one of the games here, but at the end of the season with the rest of the Valley team, the rest of the Valley girls. But she declined because she is doing track and she is a track star also. So she's in the middle. She's doing track right now. She's doing awesome stuff there. Number 23, Maya Patran, first team. Here, honorable mention. Number 33, Elena Benjamin, honorable mention. Number 2, Rihanna Castillo, first team. Number 13, Rihanna, second team. Number 1, Rihanna Gonzalez, honorable mention. Number 12, Daniel Saldivas, honorable mention. And number 3, Ms. Alessandra Torres, honorable mention.
Congratulations, girls, and Coach Lopez.
Thank you.
Next, we have Mr. Robert Salazar and Mr. Rudy Reyes for Future Farmers of America.
School Board President Castillo, school board members, superintendent Torres, and guests. This year, the Feria FFA was proudly represented by over 30 students at the Rio Grande Valley Livestock Show in Mercedes, Texas. Students showed a variety of projects ranging from market to breeding animals and all the way to shop projects and photography. These livestock shows provide our students the opportunity to apply skills that are taught in the classroom in a real-world scenario and a competitive setting. This year's results are as follows. Market steers, Landon Cadu, 4th place Charlotte. And Justin Alfaro, 9th place AOB steer. For market hogs, we had Carly Alfaro, who was 3rd place Lacrosse. And 3rd place, Carly qualified for the sale of champions. That was the last Saturday of the show, so our animal got to go to auction. Justin Alfaro placed 9th with his other cross hog. For market lands, Angelina Rodriguez placed 7th with her medium wool, and Brian Rodriguez placed 12th with his medium wool land. Market goats, Kennedy Cantu, 9th place lightweight. This year we had 3 rabbit exhibitors. Janelle Cardona placed 6th. Caitlin Flores placed 7th, and Albert Reyes placed 9th. For breeding lambs, we had Ryan Rodriguez that placed 1st with both his medium wool and South Down lambs. And his brother Brandon Rodriguez that placed 3rd with his medium wool. For breeding cattle, we had Allison Garza that placed, Allison had a lot of cattle, let's see, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the futurity. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th in the junior show, and 1st, 3rd, and 5th in the open show. One of our highlights this year was our shop projects. This year we didn't get a single red ribbon, which is an accomplishment for us. Everybody received an excellent rating and one superior rating with Kevin. This year we placed 4 students. In the top 3, Carlos Ortega placed 3rd for the art furniture. Kevin Fuentes placed 3rd and received a superior rating with his fire pit. Ben Moore placed 2nd with wildlife equipment. And Anna Torres placed 3rd with her metal art project. And also receiving excellent ratings were Roland Vega, Luis Alonso, Sergio Gonzalez, Melanie Villarreal, Mia Munoz, Aaron Nino, Adia Fuentes, Janelle Cardona, Angelina Rodriguez, Juan Mena, Mark Hartman, and Mason Park. Rounding out the stock show was our photography projects. Finn Moore, 8th place. Juan Mena, 4th place, Aisa Martinez, 5th place, Albert Reyes, 8th place, and Summer Moore, 3rd place. We also had the opportunity this year to have students exhibit at San Antonio, and Justin Alfaro participated in the cat scramble and received a $1,500 certificate for a show animal for next year for the same show. People assume that this always wraps up our FFA year. It does not. We still have a very busy April coming up. This weekend, Mr. Reyes and myself will be taking 4 students to College Station for meets judging, and April 12th we'll have our career development events in Robstown, Texas. Special thank you to the board and our administration. We've been fortunate to hear yes more than we hear no, and we're very grateful for all that you do for us, and our program would be successful if it wasn't for y'all and the support of the community. Thank you.
Thank you, FFA.
Of course, thank you, man. Appreciate everything I'll do. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have Coach Henry Soto for powerlifting girls, the powerlifting team for the girls.
First off, I would like to start off by saying that all of our growth success wouldn't be possible without the support of the community, our AD Coach Salinas, Superintendent Ms. Torres, and our Principal Mr. Cáceres. I don't know too many superintendents and principals that take time out of their busy day to go to regional meets, much less a state meet all the way in Frisco, Texas during their spring break. So that support is noted and very much appreciated. I also want to thank Coach King and Coach Bencho for working. Y'all worked very well together this season to make sure our girls and our boys did the best they possibly could. It would have been a very difficult season without them. I also want to thank the rest of the coaching staff that help us judge at meets to help us get ready for regionals and state. And our athletic secretary for making sure all our paperwork, hotels, and all the logistics were taken care of so that we could have a smooth season. Not for these girls. I'm blessed to be able to coach such fine young group of ladies. Their work ethic and dedication is unmatched. At the beginning of the season, I told them we would be having practices at 5:45 a.m. And they asked if they can come in earlier so that they can get more work done. Only a week after the season ended last year, they were already back in the weight room training for this season. They showed up all summer to get that work in. They are always very coachable, have great attitudes, ask for form checks, and constantly looking for ways to improve. Their success isn't the result of hard work during the season, but the entire year. All while maintaining good grades in rigorous course loads and being involved in multiple sports and activities, MHS, Duco, HOSA, BPA, just to mention a few. They not only participate, but they excel in these activities. I know a few of them even qualify for state in BPA and HOSA as well. More than their physical strength, what I admire about these girls is their dedication to their academics and their community. It's not uncommon to see them actually studying and doing homework right before meets or right after meets. One day we got back to school after a long powerlifting meet, which they reported to at 5 a.m. We get back to the school and I release them. And I go about my business cleaning up. I walk back out to the gym to see them volunteering. their engagement working with little children. I think that speaks volume about their character, and that's the type of girls we have here. I think that's a testament to how they were raised by their parents, the way they've been brought up in the community, and La Feria is unique. All of their success is much deserved, and I could not be more proud of their achievements this season. The entire team qualified for regionals, finishing third as a team, and we had 6 girls qualify for state, finishing third as a team at the state meet. I'm now going to list the regional qualifiers followed by state qualifiers. A few of them couldn't be here today, but I will list their names anyways. Madison Agüero, Liara Cabrera, Diana Sanchez, Karina Leal, Kevin Gutierrez, Kayla Rosales, Galilea Rodriguez, state qualifiers, Talia Conde, couldn't be here today, Galilea Gonzalez, and Faith Gonzalez, who are currently competing against Hal Allen, Emily Avila, third place at state, Elise Avila, second place at state, Zina Flores, second place at state, record holding squad, academic all-state.
Girls. Next we have Business Professionals of America, Instructor Nick Olivera.
Good evening. My name is Nicholas Olivera. I am the co-sponsor for the second chapter of BPA. Mr. Pazos is the first chapter. He couldn't make it today. He was doing his, he was at his son's baseball game. So BPA is the Business Professionals of America. And we do from accounting to media to IC configuration, I'm sorry. So out of the 15 competitors, 14 qualified for state, and then from the 14, 2 qualified for nationals. So for the state, for fundamental accounting, first place was Felicia Salazar. Second was Star Torres, or Estrella Torres. Third place was Brianna Rodriguez. For advanced accounting, first was Melanie Ramirez. For payroll accounting, third place was Santos Hernandez. Sixth place was Antonio Rodriguez. Banking and finance, third place was Sofia Garcia. For device configuration and troubleshooting, third place was Joseph Ochoa. Fourth place was Kristen Lopez, and sixth place was Alexandra Garcia. For video production team, first place was Madeline Zamarano and Armando Martinez. For news, broadcast, and production, first place was Azucena Mendoza, Melanie Ramirez, Leslie Garcia, and David Gomez. And from this 14 qualified states, the two that are placing in nationals in Anaheim, California on April 26th are Felicia Salazar and Kristen Lopez. And that's
Thank you, Business Professionals of America and Mr. Nicolas Olvera. Next, we have the Culinary Arts Team under the direction of Mr. Omar Duran.
Good afternoon. My name is Omar Duran. The students call me Chef Omar. And what I really like to do, I like to be called. But first of all, I want to thank Ms. Torres and the school board members. They have been a very important part of our success, along with Mr. Cáceres, Ms. Silva, and Ms. Rebolero. Anything and everything that we've asked for and to participate, they have been there and said, we're there, we're going to support you. And that says a lot about the dedication that the school board and administration has. I used to work at TSCC and I really thought my career was over. And I brought this up to the school board members and Mr. Cáceres one time. Was one night I was on the internet and lo and behold, a position came up and I was like, what? They said, here's my beginning again, but first I got to get in. And then sure enough, the wheels turned and Mr. Cáceres I did the interview with Mr. Cáceres and I said, okay, now we're in. Now I really want to get the meaning of culinary to these students. And the students that I have are really great students. Just for the simple fact is, I'm a very hard person to have to deal with, especially working in the kitchen. But they know that what they're going to learn, what we're doing now is going to help them in the industry if they ever decide to go out. And that's what we want to project, and that's what the school is projecting. Get them ready for college, get them ready for another career. And there's one person in particular that is on our team that literally helped me out, because when we were at TSCC getting ready for Skills USA, I was running all over the place. And there was one person I could always depend on, and Lord, she is like the backbone that is behind me, because I could have done it without Natalie. Please come forward, please. She's in my second in command, hence why she's wearing red. Great parents, great mothers, great, and what was taught to her, it really shows, and her great attitude and dedication to the position that she held. My next student that I have, she was in restaurant service. In a restaurant service, we have to do fine dining. She had to learn how to do 7 napkin folds from scratch. The students didn't know that, you have to iron a napkin, a cloth napkin. So it was a vast array of things they did. Her name is Yasida, and she won silver medal, which is going to state. My next student that is going to state as well is Clay. She got a bronze medal for culinary cooking. She, she's the type of student that would, even during her lunch period, after school period, she would say, "Can I come practice?" And I was like, what? But it's like, hey, when a student says that, then you know you got a good student that's putting forth that effort, and she, every single day, "Can I practice? Can I practice?" Which made my life so much easier. So thank you, Clay. The next person we have won a bronze medal in restaurants, in baking. She was the one that placed. I'm not really a baker, but when she won, it was like, woo! But we did have people come out and help us. Jolene, bronze medal. The next member of our team, I believe, is A-Marie. A-Marie is one of the bakers that's on the team. She was always a high-spirited person. She always made us laugh, and especially you need that person in the kitchen that breaks the monotony of the mean person in the kitchen. Our next member is Kaylee. Catalina, I'm sorry, Catalina. Catalina was also a baker. She was also a baker. She was always willing to help out, always willing to get things done and go forward with the mission that we have. Our next person we have, who's back there? I can't see.
Congratulations.
Who's it? Oh, Adeline. Adeline. Right, Adeline, come on up. Adeline's one of our members of the culinary team. She was actually in restaurant service. She did a really good job. This is our first time. She did tremendous. She's one of the other students that actually came in every single day to come practice, which I really loved and enjoyed. Our next member is Kimberly. She was actually Kimberly, look, if you want to ask for a student to step up, that was a student that would always step up. We would have, hey, this has got to happen, and I would talk to Kimberly, this is what I need. And she would go, okay, where do I need to be? You know, so which was so amazing. She's actually a senior, she's getting ready to graduate. She has been a project manager for almost every meal that we've had. So if I needed anything, Kimberly was the one to take care of it. So kudos to Kimberly. Our last member of the team is Jesus. Jesus was on the quiz ball. Jesus is one of the members of the little group that loves to come in my room. Every period, just to come say hi. If you ever want to meet the most nicest, the most precious person that'll brighten up your day, it is this gentleman right here. And ladies and gentlemen, this is your Skills USA Culinary Arts Competition member. One more thing. I want to thank all the parents for letting your children be in my charge. I graduated from the school. Matter of fact, remember, I was a stager kind of over here, this group over here. So it brings back a lot of great memories. I graduated with a lot of people in this classroom, which makes everything full circle. And your children did that for me. So I want to thank you personally for all your help and dedication, and also for the dedication of the students. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Duran and the Culinary Arts team. Thank you so much. for Skills USA Computer Science.
Hello everyone, my name is Abigail Rodriguez and I'm the computer science teacher and Skills USA advisor for our computer programming team. I would like to recognize the immense hard work of my Skills USA computer science students and thank the team for their incredible efforts and creativity in and out of the classroom. The amount of hard work and commitment each of them have dedicated towards their work is commendable. You are all truly winners. I specifically would like to congratulate Nicholas Noriega for receiving third place in computer programming. I would also like to congratulate Haley Ramos and Jacob Martinez for receiving first place in web development and design. They will be continuing on to our state competition this Thursday in Corpus Christi. I would also like to thank the remaining members of our team, which include Melanie Ramirez, Ashley Reed, Sebastian Flores, Aubrey Gartu, Valeria Videa, and Nicholas Moreira. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Abigail Rodriguez and the computer science team. Congratulations once again. Next, we have health science and the instructor, Ms. Rebecca Cavazos.
Good evening, everybody. I'm going to make this really fast. I'm sorry. Well, first of all, I am Rebecca Cavazos. I'm the advisor for health science. Skills USA. This is our first year doing this, and thank you guys for letting us with Skills USA because we do have the culinary and our Ms. Rodriguez, I think it's business. We've never had it before, and it was really exciting to see this grow. But for my health science, these students worked really hard establishing this club. They were picking up trash in the community at the beach. It was 40-degree weather and they were out there. I'm really proud of them. They've done Christmas wrappings. They participated in trunk or treat. So I'm really proud of them for making that effort of doing that. Last month they competed at TFCC. Quite a few of them made it to state. And they will be competing this week. So let's wish them the best of luck, but regardless, I'm still proud of them. Whatever the outcome is, but I know they're gonna do amazing. First of all, for basic health skills, we have first place with Anaida Vasquez. Second place is Mia Nieto, but she is not in today. We have another event that they did amazing in. It is the the health knowledge bowl. First place it's a team actually. It would be a group of 4. It is Kimberly, Brianna, Stella, and Anaida once again. Second place we have Nathan, Valeria, Carolina, and Miss Alicia. So let's wish them the best of luck for this week, and especially with Miss Abigail Rodriguez and Mr. Duran as well. They will be competing as well this week. Thank you guys. Have a good evening.
Thank you to the health science team and Ms. Rebecca Cavazos. Next, we have Ms. Lina Ramon for cosmetology. Instructor, Ms. Lina Ramon.
Thank you, Board, for having me. As y'all know, this is our first year as cosmetology. So we have this program come in So it's a first year program, first year teacher, and I am super excited. I used to work here a couple years ago, and I had to leave here because I had a baby, and my husband's like, you can't go to night school in cosmetology, and you can't, go and work at life skills at the high school. He's like, you have to decide. I was like, okay. And my friends would tell me, or my coworkers would be like, hey, you can't be that beauty school dropout because that song's gonna stay forever. And I was like, no, and then they'll be like, tell me, hey, maybe one day you'll come back and they're gonna open up, cosmetology here. And I was like, oh, that would be nice. I mean, lo and behold, it did happen for me, so it was nice to come back. It felt like I came back to my house, like this is my home. So I hope I go gray here and retire, and I'm really happy to be here. But with that said, I want to congratulate my Cosmos students. They are amazing. They're like, ma'am, it's new. I was like, hey, it's new for all of us. We're gonna go with it. And then they're like, okay. And so they're like, are you sure, ma'am? I was like, yes, I'm sure. They're like, it's a new program. You have a lot on your hands. I was like, I don't care. We're gonna do it. And we did. And I have 4 amazing students that learned, and they were just ready to go. And there I said, hey, you have to stay after school. They're like, yes, ma'am, we'll do it. And man, they did it. I have 4 that made it to state. And I have 2 seniors. I have David Gomez. He will be going for hair fantasy. He will be competing this weekend. His mannequin will be competing this weekend for hair fantasy, and I'm hoping we can come back winners. We're already winners. We made it to state. So, and then I have Mariah Patton. She made it for Brady. I wish I could bring the mannequins so y'all can see them in person, because it's an amazing job they did. I have Daisy Grano. She's competed in 3D nail art. She made these amazing wings. David made a tree with hair. Mariah did like a unicorn with braids. And then Liliana Alanis. She also did a 3D nail art. So I've gone to experience these women, and they have done an amazing job. I got to see their creativity, and their creativity is going to stay. And I told y'all can do it. And it's just amazing. I wish y'all can really see pictures. So I'll be sending them out so they can post them on Facebook for La Feria for y'all to see them. Thank you, and wish them luck for this weekend.
Congratulations, cosmetology, and Ms. Lina won. Last but not least, we have law enforcement under the direction of Mr. Carlos Romero and J.P. Sanchez.
All right, to stress out, like Ms. Ramos says, last but not least, but the favorite. First off, obviously I want to thank everybody. Obviously my team, our team, not my team, Mr. Sanchez, obviously I couldn't do anything without him there. First thing they've done, so it's a quick breakdown, everybody's tired, but I'll put my glasses on here. So on March 3rd and 4th, our kids did compete in regional competition here at the middle school, and our kids did place. Last year we went and we only had 1 team actually who advanced to state. This year we have 2 teams, 3 individuals, and another one individual by himself. All right, so they put in many hours, guys. We train them as far as how we would train other officers. They're giving blue guns, they're giving actual tactical equipment, they're giving everything that we would use in real life situations, scenarios, and we put them through the paces. If we don't like something, they'll tell you this past weekend how much y'all run this weekend, because they're not doing something right. But they stick with it. I'm very proud of each and every one of them. Some of them obviously didn't advance. I'm proud of them as well. We have freshmen on this team that advanced onto state. Okay, so I'm very proud of the fact of how far we've gone. So I'm going to call them up here individually. As far as teams, I'll call the teams up and let you know what they placed. So first off, I'm going to call out our SWAT team that placed 3rd overall in the region. Our team leader, which is Ms. Jamie Gonzalez. Ms. Jamie is also our captain for our Criminal Justice Club. Our assistant team leader, which is Ms. Ashlyn Garza. Ms. Ashlyn is also our captain to our honor guard. We have David Gomez. Obviously, David's been everywhere. He's going all over the state this year. Ms. Ashley Castillo. Ms. Isabella Izzy Rodriguez. And Andrew Diaz. This is our SWAT team. As mentioned, they did place 3rd overall at regions. For our building search team, we are missing our team leader today. He didn't make it. Mr. Jonathan Cantu. And then we have members, Ms. Jacqueline Leiva. Ms. Elizabeth Perez. Who is my freshman and outstanding. She does very good at what she does. Evan Torres. This is our building search team, and they placed 2nd overall. Very young team, and they still came in 2nd out of all the teams. Next we had the individual events, which is going to be anthropology, which is pretty much they look at bones, and they'll decide, okay, what is this bone? And they had 20 bones to try to name and identify with their medical terms. I had to look all these up. 20 bones in 15 minutes, or as many as they can in 15 minutes, and the proper term. I'm telling you, terms that I haven't even heard of. So first place on this one was Miss Ashley Garza. Miss Ashley Castillo placed 2nd place. And our 3rd place was Miss Faith Fatma. The last but not least, again, our favorite of the night tonight. Individual event was our agility course, and David placed 2nd place out of 17 runners. And he only lost by how much, David? 1 second to the first place. So I expect a lot of them at state. We're going to state this coming weekend. We'll be leaving on Sunday, and we won't be back until Thursday. Obviously, we need to thank everybody, board members, our administration staff, Mr. Cáceres, and of course our department director, Mrs. Vieta, who honestly, she does a whole heck of a lot for us. We do give her a hard time every day, but if we didn't, she'd have a miserable time at work. Okay. So again, thank you all parents. I know Saturdays we're giving up, plenty Saturdays, many hours of practice after school. Thank you all for support. I'm happy to bring you back to that state championship. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Romero, Mr. Sanchez, and to the entire law enforcement team. Congratulations. School board members and Ms. Torres, I would like to talk briefly about the Child Nutrition Program. The administrative review of the Child and Adult Care Food Program, ADVIS program, ensures that the Child Nutrition Department is in compliance with federal and state guidelines. The review conducted by the Texas Department of Agriculture, TDA, is a crucial component of maintaining food safety standards, counting and claiming of meals, and certification by providing transparency and assurance that standards are being maintained. We would like to congratulate the Child Nutrition Department under the direction of Cynthia Casas and Mr. Jose Garcia, the staff, office staff, and 2 schools that were selected for the audit. One of them is the La Feria High School cafeteria manager, Mr. Joe Elizondo. And Noemi Dominguez Elementary manager, Ms. Nancy Perez for an excellent review of no findings. Thank you, Child Nutrition Services Department, Mr. Elizondo and Ms. Nancy Perez, for all your hard work and dedication and striving to be the best for our students and staff. Job well done, team.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Casas, and the entire department.
The rest of the meeting was pretty fast. You want anything? I'm gonna get this microphone to the. I'm gonna get this.
Hello, Mr. Duran again, I'm sorry. I wanted to pass these pendants out. This are for the students that actually made it to the skills team itself. And wherever I've been, especially the military, one of the most important things that we always eat is a fork and a knife. And now every student that is on a Skills USA team will always wear this while they're in high school. They'll wear it on their jacket, chef jacket. They'll wear it. A lot of them I noticed are wearing them on their backpack. And so they're really taking pride in the program. So we want to thank you guys for coming out and supporting us. And we do have one more to happen, another live meal, and that'll be probably in about 2 more weeks. And I'll send that forward to you guys. So hopefully it'll be a good. It's a Southwest, so a Southwest is going to be considered ribs, chicken, and all that good stuff.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. It's very cute. Are you ready?
Yes.
We are now in an information item, and that is a discussion of benchmark scores for the 2022-2023 school year. Mr. Schwartz.
Good evening, Board President Ms. Castillo, members of the board, and Mrs. Flores. Before you on the screen, you do have our benchmark scores. Before I continue, you're going to have 2 sheets. One is comparing benchmark 1 to benchmark 2, and then you're going to have another handout that I do have an error on, and I do have a correction sheet for you, but it's benchmark 2 to benchmark 2. Let me go ahead and give you the corrected sheet first. I'll go ahead and address the handout that I just gave you, because it's benchmark 2 to benchmark 2. The error was that the reading scores did not paste correctly, and I I noticed that afterwards. But benchmark 2 to benchmark 2, that is the new test being compared to the old test. One of the things that we've been hearing is don't compare it, because it is 2 different tests. So you do have the corrected numbers there for you for benchmark 2 to benchmark 2, but I will begin now with benchmark 1 to benchmark number 2. You will see 2 columns. You're going to see the approaches of spring 23 and then the approaches of fall of 22. So you'll have the most recent score, and then you'll have the fall benchmark, and then you'll have the scores for meets and then for masters as well. One of the areas that concerns us is, of course, the reading. The reading test is the one that has changed the most due to the types of questions that the students are being asked. We went back and we did look at our data. What is showing that we need to focus on is the short and the extended response, which is the writing. The majority of the tests now, or not majority, but 50% of the tests, we have the revised edit. So that is new for our students and for our teachers. We did have some practice tests. The practice tests were short. We didn't receive the actual practice test from the state till late October, early November. We made the decision to go ahead and create our own test first, because what we were hearing was that we don't know if we'll have the test ready. So we went ahead and made our own test first before waiting for the practice test that the state gave. We're learning more now. In February, we learned something new. Last week, we learned something new. It is constantly changing. The only thing I can tell you is the latest word was that we will find out in September the accountability. What the accountability will look like. I told Mrs. Sotos I'm not going to stand up here and make excuses, but that is the truth. We will not know what the accountability will look like until next school year. So what we are doing is we're looking, we're modifying, we're adjusting as we go, as best as we can when we get that information. I'll give you an example. We were in a meeting, we learned something, we were like, we need to get this out to the principals. We did. Then we got a second opinion. It's a gentleman that leads a company that we do business with as well, and he says, stop, just keep teaching, because we cannot determine, we cannot predict what the state is going to give us as far as accountability. So what we did do before we left for spring break, we did meet with our secondary teachers from 6th grade on up. We basically looked at writing samples. We didn't want to be stressful about it. We just basically put like a gallery walk. We had a good example and an example that needed some work. The teachers were able to look at all the different examples and say, this is working, this needs to be tweaked, and they were able to share their strategies. Before we also left, we met with the elementary principals to address the writing as well, because that is the area of difficulty. I'll stop now so that you can look at some of the data. As you can see, for 3rd grade, in the fall we were at a 40, but in the spring we were at a 54. And then it continues. Some grade levels improved slightly, some grade levels did go down, and other grade levels did improve as well. The area of math is probably the one that showed the most growth when you compare some of the grade levels. As you know, math was the area that was giving us the most difficulty last year, and it seems to be doing better this year. One of the things that we also did before we left for spring break is we met with the principals, and they gave us a plan. And it's the same things that we hear every year. They changed, they're regrouping, they're looking at who their teachers were who scored higher in certain skills for certain teams, and those teachers are teaching those teams to those students that were struggling. So every campus is different, the needs are different for each campus, but we do have a plan from each of the principals on how they are addressing the skills or the teachers that need to be tweaked for either reading or for math, and then science and social studies as well. Are there any questions on benchmark 1 compared to benchmark 2?
Do you have any questions of Mr. Flores? No. Any comments, Ms. Flores? Thank you, sir, for the information.
What about benchmark 2 to benchmark 2? Any questions on that one? Or benchmark 1 to 2? And I'll repeat myself, sorry.
And we talked a lot when we had our meeting, and when you look at last year to this year, it's really difficult. It's different tests. What we will really know also is when we get the whole Valley scores, they're taking the same test as us. And so as we start to compare where we are and where the other Valley schools are, we'll see if the curriculum and the way that we're teaching is what we need, where we need to be at. We're looking at progress. Even though it is a different test, we're still looking at the basic skills to make sure that our students are going up. So as Mr. Flores said, no excuse as far as making sure our kids are getting what they need. The test is all over the place, but we're still looking at those skills and making sure our students are moving forward. So that's the commitment that our campus administrators are making, and we are making to continue that progress.
Ms. Otis, I do have an additional handout of the one that the state released, and where it goes by likely pass, zone of uncertainty, and likely did not pass. May I pass that out as well?
Yes, sir.
So there's 3 areas that the state is saying to address, or, so you mentioned I heard zone of uncertainty.
Well, back in the day, Mrs. Castillo, when you and I were there, we had categories, and we still have categories as well. One of the changes on this handout now is that when you look at the raw score, that raw score used to be questions. Oh,
Yes.
give me a second.
I remember this.
That used to be the number of questions.
Right.
That is now different. Now it's going to be based on points. So before, one of the strategies we could tell, if you look at the green, we might say if someone was scoring in the raw score of 17, we would probably tell their students, you need 3 more questions and you'll be fine. That no longer exists. We will not know for end of course scores where these categories are going to be until mid-June. In June, they're going to make a decision as to where the green line ends and where the yellow line starts.
So when we're having our STAR talks, we can't really tell a child, you're here, you need 2 more questions or 3 more questions.
Correct. So basically what the principals have been doing, and when we found out in February, we met with them, we're like, if you were did not meets, your goal is to go from did not meets to approaches. Because we do not know the area of where they're going to consider passing or not passing.
And we know on the STAR, the passing rate was anything from an Algebra 1 being 30-something% to pass, quote me at approaches, all the way up to 70% in some grade levels. So it could be anywhere from 32 to 70 and anywhere in between or maybe lower. And so we are looking, when we did the benchmarks, I asked Mr. Flores and he said, we put the standard up here because we're not going to say you need 50% to pass or 40%. We put it up here. Maybe we'll do a little bit better on the actual test, but we don't know. So we're leaving it up here until we find out. And so when we get results, it's like zone of uncertainty or likely will, and it's just kind of hard. So we just keep it at that standard that we feel probably will be a little higher.
And then the other difference, or another change that they're going to make, just look at the likely did not pass. Then they're going to break that up into 2 sections. Did not pass low, did not pass high. So that'll be something different for us. Have they set that category for us, or that benchmark, or not benchmark, I apologize, but that raw score? Have they given it to us? We do not have that yet. We will only have that for our high school end of course by mid-June. We were first told we were going to get it May 31st. We've now been told mid-June, but only for end of course.
I have a question. In a classroom setting, how does that affect the instruction? In comparison to this, you're saying that you don't know if a child is 3 questions away, how much knowledge that child has, right? So, because I'm kind of confused on what's the difference now. In the classroom setting, you would take those 3 kids. Let's say they have 20 kids. Those 3 children, because I remember going into with Ms. Castillo and seeing how they broke it down and that they knew each child where they landed. They're no longer going to be able to do that?
What we are doing then is we're letting them know, for example, with our 3rd grade students, it's a little harder because that's the first time. So we're basically looking at the benchmark. So let's talk about a 4th grader. The only thing that we are now telling our 4th grader, if you were a meets, your goal needs to be masters. And so basically what it's become, and we shared this with our special ed department again too, is like, it's like every student now has their own IEP. We cannot group you all together and say, okay, all of this group needs to work on this. Everyone has a different need. What we are noticing then is the area of writing, the short and extended, is the one that we need to address the most.
And we shared this, it used to be for the writing, they would ask you, tell us about your favorite summer vacation, and you wrote an informative essay. Right. Now the writing is based upon 2 selections. So it says to go look at those 2 selections and tell us about the character or something in those selections. So now it's on computer, so they have to scroll back up, find the selections, read it, scroll back down, and scroll back up and write. So we're telling them to write on their paper, and but then they have to type it. And then what does that show our 3rd graders? How many can type? So they're typing like this. And so then we've talked about needing those keyboarding skills because they're having to type that information. There is a bill out there, and I don't know if it will pass, saying that in the future, students have a choice whether to take it on the computer or a paper test. But again, it's going through the legislative session. So, you know, we're having to work with the computer, with testing differently, with having to find textual evidence, and it all comes back to, I asked Mr. Flores, and he said, you can't really go question, Cindy, because a short answer may be worth 3 questions, like the points that equal to 3 questions. So if they miss that short answer, it may be worth more than if they got 3 multiple choice right. And so it's more points now than it is questions. And I probably installed that up.
Ms. Martinez, did that answer the question? Yes. It's an individualized educational plan for almost every student. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Great job, sir. Good information. There are 3 items on the consent agenda. The monthly tax report, to change the regular scheduled March board meeting, the April board meeting from the 10th to the 17th of April, and the student performance goal for superintendent performance goals for 2023. Do I have a motion that we approve that consent agenda?
I move that we approve the items on the consent agenda.
Okay, do I have a second? Ms. Casas. We have a motion by Mrs. Johnson, and we have a second by Mrs. Casas. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes. The first item to consider and possible action, let me just scroll down there, is to take possible action on is the discussion, consideration, and action required to approve a resolution to adjust FMH local requirements, student activities, commencement.
Good evening, board. Let me just give you a little brief synopsis of what FMH local is. And it is pretty much to be eligible to participate in commensurate activities and ceremonies, a student shall meet all state and local graduation requirements, including all applicable testing. So as you all have just finished hearing Mr. Flores speaking about the state testing, since our state testing results for the end of the course will be released in mid-June, this will affect our early grads and those that meet the end of the course results. So right now it is our recommendation for all students to participate in the commensurate activities and ceremonies by just suspending or waiving the requirement for just the school year of 22-23 school year for state results. It's a provision requiring a student to meet all applicable testing requirements to be eligible to participate in the commensurate activities and ceremonies for only the school year.
So we basically contacted TASB and they said, don't change board policy, do a resolution. And so when the board president gets up there, what she says will be a little bit different, but it will still, that they have met all of the requirements, basically pending that for, you know, graduation. And so it's stated a little bit differently, but that way our early graduates, I think Mr. Cassidy said we have up to about 10 students total that this is affecting. And if we did not do this, then they could not go through the graduation ceremony. So it's a resolution only for 1 year. And we, Ms. Ramos got the resolution from TASB.
Any questions of Ms. Ramos or Ms. Ramos? Do I have a motion? have a motion by Mrs. Martinez, do I have a second?
Second.
A second by Mrs. Montalvo. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
So we have approved the resolution to adjust FMH local requirements, student activities commencement. The next item for discussion is a discussion, consideration, and possible action to change the pay grade for the video surveillance operator.
Good evening, Board President, Board members present, Mrs. Torres. This item that we're bringing to you for action is to change the pay grade for the surveillance operator. We've had that open for about 3 or 4 months. After that, we only had very few applicants, so we're trying to expand the applicant pool and how many people apply for it before we make a decision, which is why we're bringing it to the board. It is changing pay grades from pay grade 2 to a pay grade 4. The cost would be around $23,000 to $29,000 per fiscal year. That would be their salary plus benefits. Since they were in pay grade 1, in reality it's about a $4,000 to $5,000 upgrade since what we initially budgeted. And it would be paid out of local funds. Any questions on the change?
I noticed that the days are 210. That would include summer school, correct?
Yes. Yeah, yes. So it is 210 and it's not 226 because we would need them here all
Right,
that, but it would
2
cover
weeks.
summer school. Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions?
Any questions?
Do I have a motion?
I move that we change the pay grade for our video surveillance operator.
Do I have a second? Mrs. Martinez, it has been moved by Ms. Johnson and seconded by Mrs. Martinez to change the pay grade for the video surveillance operator. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item, discussion and consideration to elect the Board of Directors for Regional Education Service Center.
Thank you, Ms. Castillo. The school trustees must elect the board of directors for the Region 1 board, and so we're passing out the ballot right now. There are 2 places that you're going to vote for. Place 2 represents Jim Hogg, Starr, and Zapata counties. We have Ricardo Ramirez and Ricardo Gutierrez. Can you pass this down to Mr. Abrams? Place 5 represents Cameron County. We have Drew Brown or Ruben Cortez. We wanted to bring it tonight because it is due by April 5th. If you could vote, and then we'll pass them to Mrs. Bauer.
Everybody has voted? Now we will have the discussion and consideration to approve the purchase of vape detectors for La Feria High School and La Feria Academy.
Yes, so this next item that we're bringing to the board is for the vape detectors. So we got a quote on this company, Ricardo. They have been used by other local school districts around here, so this would be only for the high school and for the academy. This would be, again, we did get one test on it, like a demo that we installed, and it's worked out really good, so we want to go ahead and move forward so we can get all the rest of it. And again, this is just the phase 1. This would just be for the high school and the academy.
Will it be installed like restrooms or
Yeah,
We're going to discuss that in closed session because we don't want to talk about exactly where we're installing them.
Right. So,
But in closed session, we have an item and I can give you that
and
detail.
some additional features that they have. But again, this would just be phase 1. After this, we do want to also implement them as well at WB Green and Dominguez. But because of the cost, we want to go ahead and test these out at first.
Where's the money coming from? I'm sorry.
So the money, this is coming out of local funds, ma'am. I know that we've gotten some safety grants, but that's more geared towards our gates and our windows and things like that. So this is coming out of local funds.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Mr. Pettis? Do I have a motion to approve the purchase of the vape detectors? A motion by Mrs. Casas, we have a second. Mrs. Montalvo. It has been moved and seconded to approve the purchase of vape detectors for La Feria High School and the La Feria Academy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Next item is a discussion and consideration to approve a request to gift the district for a specific purpose as per CDC local.
Good evening again. Our second local policy, the board must approve a gift to the district that is designated for a specific purpose. We have received a letter from a gentleman wanting to donate a gift of the amount of $225 to place the La Feria alignment varsity basketball team up on the digital billboard here in La Feria, and it'll be up for 5 days. Again, because it's a specific request, it needs to be brought before you all for Coach Salinas is here, just in case you do have some questions as well in regards to this request.
So apparently it costs $225 for 5 days.
Yes, ma'am, we did have to receive it in writing, we do have the letter, and we did have to ask what is the value of, and it came in at a value of $225. But because it's a specific request,
right,
it needs to come before. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Flores, I move that we approve the gift to the district of displaying an electronic billboard in La Feria for the girls' varsity basketball team.
We have a motion by Ms. Johnson. Do I have a second? A second by Mr. Briones. It has been moved and seconded to approve the gift to the district of displaying on an electric billboard in La Feria for the girls' varsity basketball team. Any further discussion?
I have a question. How does this work with Title IX?
If, for example, that this gift was going to be for a boys team, then Title IX comes into play. Because we have to make it equitable, we have to make it allowable for girls teams as well. If it was just boys, then we would have to do something else.
Okay, so if this request was for the boys basketball, then something would have to be done for the girls basketball?
We spoke to our legal counsel, and he said whether or not you agree or not, that's the way Title IX is. So if something is gifted to a male team, a boys team, and not to the girls, then it's considered not being equitable. But if you do it the opposite way, it's not considered Title IX.
So, just real quick, I know the boys baseball team was gifted, or they were going to be gifted something, but we told them no.
Because it's boys.
But I think it works both ways.
According to Mike Saldana, it does not.
Title IX is only dealing with girls.
Right, as far as
the inequity of girls
sport
for females, not the other way around. That's based on our attorneys.
So it's not just for the sport that we provide.
Right.
I know we offer us, like, for example, we offer baseball, we have to offer softball, we offer golf, we have to offer golf, we offer soccer. Gift-wise, though.
Well, we've always been like gift-wise, like try to be equitable to both sports, right? So we've always been that way. We've always tried to be equal. But when we went to look into this and research it, our attorney said that because it came from the female side of the request, we didn't have to have a male billboard, because Title IX only deals with equity towards for women and women's sports. And so we asked them about gifts, right? So it's.
And I think it's a great idea, don't get me wrong, but I know the boys will also give you something earlier, we have told them no.
Well, that was because they would have been, and if you've been out there, it would have been a real big difference in the dugout for the boys compared to the girls. Would have been a big difference.
And when we talked about
then that is a Title IX, because our boys dugout expansion was really going to outdo our girls expansion.
Even though it was a gift.
Even though it was a gift.
So let me ask another question. If we raise money, for example, with fundraisers, and the boys are doing it, and they're raising that money, and they decide to make this dugout, is that still Title IX also?
That's a question
for raising the money. I would have to ask. So.
But you see what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I think it's awesome they're doing it. Don't get me wrong. And I'm going to say let's do it. I just think for future we need to look at this to make sure that both sides are getting equal opportunity.
Exactly. What happened with the baseball and softball? That wasn't our property. And so again, according to Mike Saldana, Title IX is for minority and for women. basically. And so that's why, and whether it's right or wrong, you
Right,
can
it is
give,
what it
right.
is.
And so with the softball, we just had to have a letter saying, because it was a city property, that they're agreeing to do this because it wasn't our Title IX, it was on them. And they decided to do for both because they did not want to do for one and not do the other. So we said, if you want to do for the boys, that's fine, just give us a letter that it falls on you, any kind of Title IX. And of course, you know, I'm sure their legal contacted them too as well.
Ms. Torres, is there any way, because I'm thinking about, Mr. Zambrano said about fundraising. Is there any way you can look into the, like, isn't the boosters, they do that? And can, you know, research the benefits of that? Or individual gifts and donations? Because if it's, I can see the 225, but versus a dugout, it's more in case, just to have a comparison of what's beneficial. It's so lot.
And what is our policy say for these type of?
And I'll explain the policy, and I'm glad you said that. When we were going through our audit, and when we had the gift of the dugout, our policy basically says that any gift that's for a specific purpose has to come to the board. And so at the time that we went through our audit, we realized any time somebody says, if this is money for athletics, then it's not considered. But if they say, I want this money for athletics, for chairs, for basketball, then it becomes a gift and it has to go to the board. So in April, we're going to be bringing a few things to the board as far as policy changes through the audit. And one thing is so that we don't have to bring every single item to the board. If somebody wants to donate something, zoo tickets to, you know, one class, that wouldn't have to come to the board. So we're going to discuss a monetary amount, and anything over that has to come to the board. And that will be something that y'all decide. But even when we make those decisions, we're going to always, anytime we have something like this, we always contact legal to make sure that we can do things, you know, the right way.
I have two questions. And I totally support it. I think this is really nice. But the perception in the community, of course, will be why this group of students and not this group of students. So I guess if I get calls like that, I'll direct it to you, because I wouldn't be able to.
Yes.
To do whatever, do it justice. My other question is, do we need to get special permission? What is going to be on this billboard?
Of course, when the billboard goes up, we will look at the FERPA, the sign signature, that when parents register their children, it says, are you able to use your pictures, just like on social media. So all parents have to sign off that they're okay with it. Yes, covered. Yes, ma'am. Oh. And so we'll take care of that. And then any questions that they have, you can direct them to me, and I'll address that.
Because I'm sure they're going to wonder why then.
Right. Yes.
And then if we tell them, well, we did except for the boys, they're not going to understand Title IX.
Right. No, I definitely will talk to them about that. And Ms. Martinez, I'll get you the information to give you the pros and cons of any type of boosters and what we've done in the past and in the future.
And I've already
I'll
talked to
research
also
that.
Coach Gomez to try to find somebody to do with the boys as well. Because it's true, so that we can be fair. So, you know what I'm saying? So, but we got this came in about a couple months ago, so we wanted to get this through you all. And then the boys will also we will have something for them as well. We've always been like that in our program, so we'll keep.
It's not even expensive.
No, and so that's why we're working on a donation for our boys as well. So we'll have both of them up pretty soon.
I think the short answer would be it was a private donation, but of course if they have questions, you'll talk to administration. But the short answer to if somebody says, you know, why it is, that was a private donation.
They're not going to understand that.
And I agree with you. They're going to say.
And also, in my heart, that's the board members of this committee. Let's recognize all the kids that do.
No, I understand. Yes.
Let's find a way.
Right, and we will. Like as soon as we got this, we figured we'll go through this process. I've already talked to Coach Gomez. We will have some way, either we'll put it on our billboard here in the Feria, or we'll put it on the one they're asking. Theirs is further down towards Harlingen. And again, this is really basically, like you're saying, I mean, this is a promotion of our school district and our programs, and so we're also gonna look at the boys to put them up. And anytime, like I said, we've been, or since I've been the athletic director, is to try to make sure that both sides get equal representation, because, you know, you've been there with us, so everybody kind of gets, but this was a private, like Mr. Guerrero said, it was a private money bill, and then I did talk to Coach Gomez and said, look, you know, we're gonna look for somebody to put the budget. So I was waiting for tonight, see how it goes. If the board is okay with it, then we'll come back with another one. And I know that because we also have other donations coming to you all or to Mrs. Torres based on how you decide to proceed on donation situations. So, and this to me seems to be the better way than booster clubs. I'm not a fan of booster clubs, Ms. Martinez, just because we've dealt with them early in our careers, and it can be very, very difficult to control the whole process of being into booster clubs. But we do a good job of supplying our kids with everything and providing them with everything that we need to be able to be competitive. And if there's ever any need to try to bring extra money or things like that, by us accepting these gifts, we know how to direct the parents and the people that it has to be equal for all programs. Because it could throw an unbalance to our programs, just because certain programs can get a better group of parents fundraising from, and it could just throw us off, and it can really be an unbalanced situation. But I mean, whatever you all feel the direction we want, we will always proceed that way. But right now, I think we have a very fair and equitable way of supplying all our programs and athletics fairly, so that they get what they need to compete. And sometimes even more than they need. And I know a lot of your kids are in our programs, and you can attest to that. There's not a need, and I talked to Ms. Torres about that. We really have no need, because you all are so great about giving us what we need to give them. But of course, we can always accept money to help us. We can always take money in. But it's easier for us to control that if we're not in a booster club, because we control the donations and the fundraising. So when we open up booster clubs, that they become a separate part of us. We are in charge of it as well, but they're separate to us, and it can get a little bit dicey. And it was dicey. I mean, I've been here a while now, but when we first came in, Ruben was part of our program. It was really tough to get them under control. Yes, ma'am.
You're talking about...
Yes, booster clubs.
No, I'm meaning the needs. You're talking about meeting the needs of when they're doing the sport. You know, and I'm very proud of that. All my kids went through the athletic, and you come up all
Right.
But this is like an extra perk.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And I think that's what I would...
Right.
They don't have the money in our budget.
Right.
And this is why, you know, when we do look at policy, that way it gives us a little bit more control. Because I can see even this getting out of hand as well, because there are, like you mentioned, there are some sports who will go all out and fundraise, and they'll fundraise every weekend because, you know, they're better organized.
Right.
You know, and so that I think, you know, changing or looking at our policy gives us that control.
Right.
You know,
And like you're right, exactly right. But we have that institutional control of it, so that nobody feels that, because it could throw us off, like you're saying. You could have some sports that will be uniform for every day, and because they have the ability to fundraise at that level, where there's other sports that might not be able to do that. And I believe right now that we have a very fair and equitable program in supplies. But yes, whenever some gifts come in, we're not going to turn them down, right? But like, just real quick, like on the dugout, when the gift came in, when I first saw it, I looked at it only okay. But once I realized how the expansion was going to make our softball program look just totally different, we were able to control going to the city and saying, look, we want equitable facilities, and obviously they had some Title IX situations there, but I think they still would have done it just because they wanted both programs to be successful. So that's all I'm saying is that as long as we have some kind of control, and I think we'd be better off than the Booster Club, and also from experience trying to control their finances and their audits through Mr. Cepedas, it will be very different.
I just want our students to be recognized equally.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, and I think that that's one of the things that we have to continue to do, because you saw it today, but we have so much success in our town. I was at the Beauty Champs just this, and everybody's saying, man, how do you get so many kids from that little town to be so good? And I'm like, because they're good. We just have those kids in our system, right? And so we're very fortunate for that. But obviously we need to promote it out there, and because I've been where you've been, and that it's a competitive world now in education. We have to compete for kids, and so we need to promote our successes, and not, because I know we're very humble. We're a humble district. We don't like, we don't like to show ourselves at help, but in a sense we do need to do it now because of the competition that we're having for kids, and so we want our kids to come back to the Feria, or if they're thinking of going somewhere else, like myself right now, I've told them, like, we need to tie the Feria away from everybody else. I don't want them going to Harlingen South. I don't want them going to Harlingen. That's what I've told my staff, we're going to tie that, we're going to build that thing. Our kids stay here, so, that's
our kids to feel appreciated.
yes,
their hard work.
Yes, and I think they do, Mrs. Casas, I really feel that they do because of the way we treat them, the way the things that they get and how they go. And that's one of the things when we came in was we don't have the best facilities, I'm going on, but we don't have the best facilities sometimes of other schools like Cal and some of the schools that we go. But I want our kids to look good. I want our kids to show, and we have done it. And this district has stepped up to do it. So.
And something that we've also looked at, just like we have the Lions Roar, and we use the paper, and we use social media, some of these electronic billboards that are very close, if you pay a set amount per month, you have one picture every so often. So we could always look at, we want to buy a segment on the billboard for the next 12 months. And so we could say a week this team is going to be on there, and a week this team.
I'm just saying, whatever we decide on, we're going to set precedents, right?
Right.
And then we're all going to get our own scoreboard where we can promote our own stuff up there.
That's true.
As well.
That's very true.
So, and again, it's awesome that they gave us this gift, but by accepting this gift, whether we do or we don't, it's going to set precedents for future stuff to come. And now how do we monitor? How do we start to decipher yes, no, yes, because what those things are?
Right.
Yeah, but I think Coach Salinas would be fair, and Coach Campos.
No, we're not saying they're not. We're saying it's our decision right now.
No, but I mean, they're not gonna,
But it's not about them.
No.
And I would think the weight of the decision should be on the coaches or on Mrs. Lotus. I think that should be a board, because if we do say it's cross country, they've only come up with $500, but yet we have girls softball who's come up with $25,000. And so, are you going to say yes and no, yes all the time? Then you're going to start
What
seeing
happened to this private person that paid the money happened, I'm sure, was a parent, an uncle, somebody related to somebody on that team. And that person's not on the softball team or the soccer team, no one's ever going to step up and give them that same opportunity. And that's where the president is set. That's where we have to say, okay, we appreciate that gift. Now what you can do is, if you want, you can donate that gift to athletics. Now coach can spend that money throughout the district.
Off the board, evenly.
We'll take your monetary donation, but we're not going to be specific to this.
You'll take your money.
Yeah,
just take your money.
But that's the way it should be. I hate to say it, but that's the way it's going to be, because again, I've been there, I've seen it, and it isn't a popular life. And that's why I asked, because I know there's situations that happen that is already causing it, and we've done a good job of taking it down, but by taking this, it's going to create.
But this is also an opportunity, because we know we won't be able to do this sort of thing
Right.
these sort of things for our students. So it's kind of like, it's a double-edged sword, you know, because yes, it's going to open up, you know,
And
it's going to open up.
for how long? Is this sacrifice the greater good of what we're trying to accomplish? You know what I mean? Again, we can do something for the 12 months. Again, they can still donate the money. We can use that money towards the 12 months where everybody gets recognized. We're going to have our own scoreboard where we can still recognize our kids. I mean, there's other ways to do it without singling out one
Single sport.
We do it on Facebook and all the other things too.
But this is special.
Difference, you know, of course, would be, you know, when it comes to the board versus the superintendent, it's going to be also, you know, that they get the background kind of questions answered ahead of time, like the legal.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So
It'll bring
that'll
it
be.
to, oh, yeah, it'll be. Okay.
Any other discussion? Okay, we've already moved and we seconded to approve the gift to the district of displaying an electronic billboard in La Feria for the girls varsity basketball team. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. It is now 8:04 p.m. and we are moving into closed session, closed meeting pursuant to Texas Government Code Chapter 551.
He turns it off and you can turn it back.